Yeah.
At EnergyNewsAfrica.com, we value our readers so much because we know that they are very key stakeholders as far as our industry is concerned. So we create good content by finding relevant people in the industry to have a conversation with them on issues that is of interest to our readers. We have with me here Dr. Stephen Yamoah, who is the Executive Director for Nuclear Power Ghana. And so, Doc, you are welcome to EnergyNewsAfrica.com.
Thank you, Craig, and thank you, EnergyNewsAfrica.com. We are most grateful for the opportunity provided to Nuclear Power Ghana to promote our activities and what we do as an organization to your audience across the country and beyond. Thank you.
Yeah, our understanding is Ghana's quest to have a nuclear power plant date back in 1963 when the first president of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, established Ghana Atomic Energy with the mandate to make sure that in future we have nuclear power plant in this country. My understanding is that in 2018 Nuclear Power Ghana was established. Can you tell us a bit of Nuclear Power Ghana?
Thank you. So you are right. Our first president, Dr. Nkrumah, had a vision to develop Ghana through two major energy sources, the hydro and nuclear. So you notice that the commissioning of the two projects were just 3 years apart. The hydro in 1961 and the nuclear atomic energy commission foundation stone in 1964. So the whole idea was to build a research reactor, train nuclear scientists and develop the human resource capacity and the competency to add nuclear to the hydro generation source in the future. But unfortunately, after his overthrow, the nuclear project was abandoned. And after the country going back and forth with this nuclear agenda, in 2007, the then government set up a commission to actually go back to review the nuclear project that Nkrumah started and whether it is feasible at the current state to proceed with the nuclear project. So based on the committee report, the government then decided to embark on a nuclear program. So to do a nuclear program, you need a couple of institutions. So first, the country needed an implementation organization that will implement and coordinate the various activities that will eventually lead to the realization of the nuclear project. So that was established under the Ministry of Energy by name Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization. Okay. Now, the nuclear program will need an organization that will own and operate the power plant. In other words, there should be a power company with the competency to be able to manage and operate the power plant. So that was the birth of Nuclear Power Ghana. So indeed, Nuclear Power Ghana was established in 2018 with a mandate to develop the nuclear project activities of the program and to construct and operate nuclear power plant in the country. So Nuclear Power Ghana, as I said, was established, and to start with, the government actually called upon three key institutions in the country, namely the Volta River Authority, Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, and the Bui Power Authority, to come together to establish an organization that will own and operate the power plant. So in effect, Nuclear Power Ghana is as a result of collaboration between these three institutions, the Volta River Authority, the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, and the Bui Power Authority, with a mandate, as I said, to manage the nuclear project aspect of the program and to construct and operate a nuclear power plant based on the roadmap that the Ghana Nuclear Power Program has established.
So you talk about creation of a nuclear reactor. What exactly is it?
Okay, so nuclear reactor is a device like, for basic, what I would say is it's a machine like any other machine, okay? But it's a machine or a device where what we call a nuclear reaction takes place, and in the process of that reaction a lot of heat is generated, and heat has many uses, and in this particular case the usage of the heat is to generate electricity. So basically when we're talking about nuclear power plant or nuclear reactor, we mean in the context of the Ghana Nuclear Power Program, we mean using that device called nuclear power plant to generate electricity to support the industrial and economic growth that the country aspires to. In every country, without without affordable, cheap and reliable electricity, the economy cannot grow. Industry cannot grow. There are a lot of industries that they have over 30% to 40% of their generation dependent on electricity. So if you can provide a reliable baseload power at affordable cost to these industries, it will lead to industrial growth, and eventually there will be a lot of job creation and economic activities in the country. So basically what we mean by nuclear power plant is to generate electricity to add on to the existing electricity sources that we are using in the country.
So almost over 15 years or so we had this, Ghana had an intention of establishing a nuclear power plant. Now nuclear power Ghana has been created since 2018. What have you been doing since then?
Okay, so before the creation of Nuclear Power Ghana, as I said, there was the Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization. So the GNPPO came out with a roadmap to see to the realization of the nuclear power plant in the generation mix. So the roadmap is divided into three phases. Phase one basically is about preparatory activities. As I said, after the committee report in 2007, the government then decided to embark on the nuclear power program. But having taken a decision to embark on the nuclear program is one thing, and knowing what it takes to actually proceed to develop all the necessary infrastructure is another thing. So the country needed time to assess a couple of infrastructures and perform a couple of activities to be able to actually make what we call a knowledgeable commitment, in the sense that having taken the decision and knowing what it takes to move forward, are we ready to go? So that was the kind of activities that was done in phase one. So Nuclear Power Ghana was established towards the end of phase one to also lend its support to the Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization to complete the phase one activities. And in the end, we came up with a program comprehensive report that actually details everything in terms of where we can site the power plant, in terms of how are we going to train the human resource, where are we going to get them from, in terms of industrial participation and collaboration, in terms of issues that has to deal with environmental considerations and a host of others, safety, how are we going to manage the waste and all of that. So we undertook all these studies to come up with that comprehensive report. Now, as we speak now, we've crossed the phase one. So currently we're in phase two. So phase two, we're looking at consolidating on the studies that was undertaken in phase one and going much deeper. So for instance, in phase one, having gone through the studies related to siting, we came out with 4 candidate areas that we say, okay, we can put the power plant there. Now, we need to perform additional studies to be able to, zoom into a particular site that we will start the power plant. So these are some of the activities that we are doing. Collecting historical data and doing a lot of field work to be able to ascertain exactly where we put the power plant. Nuclear is not just any power plant. We need to consider the seismicity of the area. We need to look at the population issues. You need to look at water availability, because you are talking about 60 years and beyond. So we need to consider all of that. So for example, when we are looking at population as an example, we are not looking at population in the current situation, but projecting the population to 60 years and beyond, and knowing the growth and how it might affect or might not affect the operation of the power plant. Other issues like grid compatibility. We are going to inject a nuclear power plant to the national grid, the transmission system. How safe and reliable will our transmission system be? So we need to know how the grid will, will integrate well with the nuclear power plant when it is added onto it, to know the kind of investment and reinforcement that ought to be done before the date for the linking the power from the nuclear to the grid. So we're doing all of that. In addition to that, we're also doing a lot of national engagement. We can't also do a nuclear power plant without the support of the general public and then the understanding of the general public. So we're doing a lot of media engagement, public engagement, stakeholder activities, community engagement, all geared towards making sure that there is support for the program, and also there's an understanding as to the benefits of the nuclear power.
How did COVID impact on your activities in 2020, and what do you hope to do this year, even though we are still in COVID era?
Yeah, that's right. Certainly the COVID issue actually affected almost everybody in the world, and including NPG. Mostly all our engagement activities we had to suspend them. So that is one big area, because there was plans to do a couple of engagement with industries through Association of Ghana Industries. There were a lot of plans to do public engagement and workshops and seminars and educational activities and promos, which we had to suspend. So in effect, we have to suspend almost every activity that had to do with public engagement, and that is still continuing. We finding innovative ways to make sure we still run in terms of our educational and stakeholder activities running, making sure that we are observing all the COVID protocols and staying healthy and safe. So those are some of the things that actually has actually affected the implementation of the program in 2020. And basically, as I said, we have actually crossed phase 1. So currently we are in phase 2. So we've put in place a long-term program.
Okay.
In other words, what are we supposed to do as an organization to ensure that we can address all the things that we need to do in phase 2. So we have this master plan that we're following as a guide that we executing. And this plan cut across stakeholder engagement, stakeholder involvement, citing issues, human capacity building, industrial engagement, safety considerations, and all the other hosts. So things that I would say does not require much interaction with external bodies and external persons. Those things we are running them normal.
Okay.
But those activities that require us to go out and engage the general public and bring a couple of people together, those are the areas that are mostly affected, and it's not running the way we expected it to run, but we're still finding ways to do that. With our phase 2 program activities, the major milestones are the completion of the site studies to be able to come up with the preferred sites.
So you haven't been able to come up with a preferred site yet. You said you have identified some 4 candidate areas.
Yes. So let me just give a bit brief about this whole thing. So we needed to identify where we put the power plant. And you will not do that looking at, this area is nice, it can be there. So you need to go through a rigorous studies, rigorous criteria. So we started from the whole country and then use certain factors, for example, water availability, population density, the seismicity in the area, and a couple of other factors to actually knock off some areas and so on and so forth. So eventually we've come out with 4, we call it 4 candidate areas. Now what it means is that all these 4 areas are good enough to construct a power plant there, but we are not going to use all the 4 at the same time. So we need to select one out of the 4. And in selecting one of the 4, again, you don't say, because this is in this area, I like this area, or blah, blah, blah. You, again, have to go through have to use certain criteria to select the one out of the 4. So that is the kind of activity that we are currently doing. Taking all the 4 areas through same analysis, same studies, same using the same criteria, and then in the end we will rank, and based on the ranking you can say that this is the preferred site. Then on we can then go further to that particular site and gather further information and data that will be also considered for the design of the power plant. So that is one major milestone that we want to hit in phase 2 to be able to come out with the preferred site. The other major milestone is the identification of the strategic partner. In other words, the vendor country that will partner Nuclear Power Ghana to construct the power plant.
That means we cannot, as a country, do it alone.
Of course, we do not have the technology to design and manufacture the plants and then construct and so on and so forth. The reality is that you can basically, in the whole world, you can basically talk about, I think about 7 countries that have the technology to actually design and manufacture nuclear power plants. You're talking about United States, you're talking about Russia, China, France, also India, Japan. So basically, and then South Korea. So basically, these are the vendor countries. So it's not like there are unlimited vendors all over the world that we're looking at. I mean,
I hear we're likely to go with Russia.
No, I mean we are not there yet. I mean, we are not there yet. Which country we are going with, we are not there yet. And that's what I said is one of the decisions that we hope to take within the shortest possible time. Not only, I mean, this decision does not only lie with Nuclear Power Ghana. It's also we need to work with government in taking decisions. So I mean, at this stage, we haven't actually, as a country and also as an organization, decided on country A or country B. The reality is that right from the onset, a number of countries actually shown interest right from the beginning. The moment the government announced the intention to go nuclear, these countries show interest to actually partner Ghana to develop the project. So Russia is one, China is one, Korea was also here, United States have also shown interest, and France not yet, also India too seems to show interest. So at this stage we haven't decided yet, but it's a critical decision that we need to cross as a country, and hopefully within the shortest possible time we should be able to take that decision.
Okay, it's been very, very great having this interview with you, and as we prepare to wrap up interview with you, Dr. Stephen Yamoah, how do you paint a picture onto the people of Ghana that nuclear is safe? There has been improvement in the technology, so in 2030 or thereabout, if we are able to establish a nuclear power plant, I mean, it is going to help us to drive our industrial agenda. How do you paint that picture to Ghanaians for them to have disabuse the minds of Ghanaians, especially those who are criticizing our quest to establish nuclear power plants in our country?
Okay, thank you. So as I said earlier on, nuclear power plants are very safe energy generation technology, which some countries have used to actually develop their economies, and a typical example is South Korea, for example. I remember at a workshop where there was one of the resource persons was a South Korean, and when he was going around, he came to my, where I was seated, and when he realized I was from Ghana, he said, "You are from Ghana?" Said in the 60s, when we were in crisis, you came to our aid. In actual fact, in the 60s during Nkrumah's time, I think Ghana provided some aid to South Korea. Now they are far advanced than us, and majority of their advancement is as a result of the nuclear agenda that they embark. They did not see nuclear as only a means to add on to their electricity generation, like we have 10,000 megawatt or 20,000 megawatt. They actually approach the nuclear as an industry. So they develop all their systems to grow with the nuclear industry, and that is how they have benefited. On the issue of safety, let's look at something. The Fukushima happened where? In Japan.
Yeah.
Right? Japan did not stop their nuclear power plants. In fact, they are, as we speak, constructing new nuclear power plants. Okay, so it was something that happened, and the management of the situation is not necessarily because it was also Japan, but because the nuclear mandates you to put systems in place to be able to deal with such incidences when happens. So one of the infrastructure that we actually embarking on, or addressing, is what we call emergency preparedness plans and response. So the nuclear, you sort of anticipate anything that could happen, and then you put in systems in place to ensure that in the event that it happens, you can deal with it. So nuclear power plants are very safe, and as a country, we need to actually take it more serious. The unfortunate thing is that the nuclear started as a warfare technology, and so that thing is still in the minds of people. Strangely enough, there are people in the country who even think that Ghana Atomic Energy Commission is producing bomb, and you ask yourself, producing bomb for what? So first, we're not promoting this nuclear technology for any other uses except to generate electricity and take advantage of the many other positives that it comes along with it. So our only goal is to use it for peaceful purposes. And Ghana has signed on to a couple of international legal instruments that ensures that we cannot divert the knowledge and the technology to any other thing not useful. So I'm sure probably we may also be familiar with the issue of, for example, Iran and US, and the entertaining the fear that probably they are using the technology for any other purposes aside the use for peaceful purposes. And so Ghana, to forestall that, Ghana has signed on to all these international conventions. What it means is that the international community can enter the country to take stock of all nuclear activities that we are doing, and making sure that we are not diverting to any other purposes. There is also the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and that is very important. That has been established to come up with stringent regulations and guidelines to make sure that as an operating organization or as a facility operator, you will meet the requirements. So not everybody can become a nuclear operator, for instance. You should have gone through a very rigorous training. I have my PhD. I'm not a nuclear operator. If I should become an operator, notwithstanding my PhD in nuclear science and engineering, I have to go through training not less than 6 years. So that is the kind of training that, for example, an operator will go through to become a qualified operator.
It's been very exciting, interesting, and having Dr. Stephen Yamoah, who is the Executive Director of Nuclear Power Ghana, talking to us on wide range of issues about what Nuclear Power Ghana is doing, the perception about nuclear power plants, and other related issues. It has been very, very exciting and informative interaction. Thank you so much, Dr. Stephen Yamoah, and all the staff of Nuclear Power Ghana, for inviting us into your offices for this wonderful interview. We are so much grateful. Thank you.